My name is Alina Brooks. I was 28 years old. The night before my wedding, my mother left me a voicemail at 11:43 p.m. Alina, it's not too late to cancel. Don't embarrass us like this. My father had already sent a long letter saying my choices did not match our family values. I played her message 3 times before I understood the truth. She wasn't coming. I had sent out 68 invitations to my side of the family. Not one person replied. Later, I found out my mother had sent a group email telling everyone not to attend. She said they could not support my marriage. The reason? My fiancé worked night shifts as hospital security. To them, he was nobody. But I knew something they didn't. And soon, the whole world would know too. If you enjoy stories like this, take a second to like and subscribe. It helps more than you think. 2 days after my wedding, a short video from my reception went viral. It was only 10 seconds long, but it changed everything. The man my family called nobody became the only person anyone could talk about. That was the moment my family realized what they had done. But by then, it was too late. Let me take you back 14 months earlier. It started in a hospital waiting room at 2:17 in the morning. My roommate had been in a bike accident. It wasn't serious, but we had to stay at the ER. I had been sitting there for 3 hours. The lights were too bright. The chairs were hard. The coffee machine was broken. I stared at my phone, not really reading anything. Then someone stopped in front of me. "You've been here a while," he said. "Have you eaten?" I looked up. That was the first time I saw him. He wore a security uniform, dark hair, tired eyes, kind face. "No," I said. "The vending machines are broken." He nodded. "Wait here." 6 minutes later, he came back with a sandwich and coffee. "You didn't have to do that," I said. "You looked like you needed it." We talked for a few minutes. Not long. But something felt calm. His name was Caleb Reed. He didn't say much about himself. "I work nights," he said. "Mostly operation stuff." The way he spoke was quiet and careful. Like every word mattered. "Do you like working nights?" I asked. "It's when the work matters most." I didn't understand what he meant. When the nurse called me, I stood up. "I'm Alina," I said. "Caleb." I thought that was the end. Just a small moment. But it wasn't. 3 days later, he found me online. "Would you like to get coffee?" he asked. Our first date was simple. We met at a small food market at noon. He wore jeans and a worn jacket. Still looked tired. We walked, talked, and shared food on a bench. He listened more than he spoke. But when he did talk, it mattered. His phone buzzed a few times. He checked it once, typed something quickly, then put it away. "Sorry," he said. "It's fine. Work." We spent 2 hours together. When we said goodbye, he smiled. "Can I see you again?" "Yes," I said. That was how it started. Slow at first. Then, all at once. Caleb worked strange hours. Sometimes he disappeared for a full day. "Night shifts," he would say. "Emergencies." I didn't ask too many questions. He lived in a small apartment. Very simple. Books everywhere. Mostly medical books. "You read these?" I asked once. "I like to understand things," he said. By the end of the year, I was in love. Completely. He moved in with me in December. Just one bag and his books. And a pager that sometimes went off in the middle of the night. When it did, he would leave quickly. No explanations. I didn't need them. I trusted him. But I knew one thing. My family would not understand him. In March, I told my mother about Caleb. "What does he do?" she asked. "He works at a hospital," I said. "In security." There was silence. "Oh," she said slowly. That tone. I knew it. They wanted to meet him. So, I arranged dinner. Caleb didn't look worried. "It won't be easy," he said. "But we'll do it." My parents' house was big, beautiful, cold. My mother noticed his shoes. My father asked about his education. Caleb answered politely. He didn't try to impress them. Halfway through dinner, something strange happened. He gave medical advice about a problem someone mentioned. Accurate. Confident. My mother stared at him, but said nothing. That night, my phone lit up. "We need to talk about your future," my mother texted. I knew what was coming. A few days later, my father sent a long letter. He said love wasn't enough, that Caleb was not compatible with our life, that I was making a mistake. I called Caleb and read it to him. When I finished, he asked one question. Do you still want to marry me? Yes. Then we get married. That was it. No anger, no fear, just certainty. I loved him more in that moment, but my family was not done, not even close. A week later, my mother invited me out. She brought someone, a doctor. Perfect, successful, polished. This is Oliver Grant, she said. I understood immediately. She was trying to replace Caleb. I'm engaged, I said. You're not married yet, she replied. I lasted 10 minutes. Then I left. That was the moment I knew. They would not stop. The family group chat exploded that night. Messages, judgments, quiet insults. My brother posted online instead. Some people choose their own mistakes. I left the chat. They added me back. I left again. That night, Caleb got a call. He spoke in a tone I had never heard before. Sharp, fast. Then he left, and came back hours later with blood on his cuff. I noticed things after that. Little things. A nurse once called him doctor. He brushed it off. Another time, I picked him up from work. He was wearing scrubs. I thought it was normal, but it wasn't. I almost asked him, but I didn't. He looked so tired, and I trusted him. Looking back now, that was the moment everything could have changed. But I let it go. Some truths wait until they explode. In August, I sent out wedding invitations. 68 to my family. I wrote each one by hand. Caleb watched me. You don't have to invite them, he said. They're my family, I replied. A week later, my mother sent an email. Not to me. To everyone else. They would not attend. They could not support my marriage. I read it over and over. Then I called the caterer. I need to cancel 68 seats. She paused. Are you sure? Yes. I sat in my car and cried. That was the first time it felt real. I was going to get married. Alone. The RSVP deadline came. 0 responses. Not one. Some didn't even open the invitation. My brother said nothing. I met with the venue coordinator. How should we arrange seating? She asked. Leave the chairs, I said. Empty. She looked surprised. I need to see it, I said. I needed the truth to be visible. Painful, but real. The night before the wedding, my phone was silent. No messages. No support. Caleb sat beside me. We can cancel, he said softly. No, I replied. I want them to see what they chose. At 11:43 p.m., my phone rang. My mother. It's not too late, she said. Then she hung up. That was it. She wasn't coming. I knew it. And still I chose to go on. The next day I got ready alone. No mother. No bridesmaids. Just me. The coordinator helped with my dress. You look beautiful, she said. I smiled. But I felt empty. At 4:02 p.m., the doors opened. Music started. I stepped forward. Left side. 34 empty chairs. Right side. Caleb's family. Full. Warm. Present. I walked. Alone. Step by step. Past every empty seat. Caleb stood at the altar. When he saw me, his face broke. He mouthed something. I'm sorry. I reached him. We held hands. Both shaking. We said our vows. Simple. Honest. I don't have much, he said. But what I have is yours. I cried. You're enough, I said. We kissed. For a moment, nothing else mattered. Not the empty chairs. Not the pain. Just us. The reception started. One table stood out. 8 empty seats. My family, not there. I looked at it again and again, like touching a wound. At 6:33 p.m., we had our first dance. I thought they'd come, I whispered. I know, he said. We swayed. Just us. I thought I had made peace with it. I was wrong. At 7:23 p.m., someone screamed. A man collapsed. Everything changed in seconds. And that was when I saw Caleb for who he really was. The room froze when the man hit the floor. Someone shouted, "Call 911." But Caleb was already moving. He reached the man in seconds, dropping to his knees. His entire presence changed.
Calm.
Focused. Commanding. "Check his pulse," he said sharply. "Airway clear." His voice cut through the noise like it belonged there. A woman ran over. "I have an AED in my car." "Bring it. Now." Another man stepped closer. "Do you want me on compressions?"
Yes. Start.
Deep and steady. People moved around him like a trained team, like they knew him, like they trusted him. I stood frozen. Someone beside me whispered, "That's Dr. Reed." My heart skipped. "Doctor?" The AED arrived. Caleb didn't hesitate. "Charge it." 200. The EMTs rushed in minutes later. "Dr. Reed, we've got it." They knew him. And suddenly, nothing made sense anymore. Caleb rode with them to the hospital. The reception felt empty without him. Guests whispered. Phones came out. Someone had recorded everything. I stood there trying to breathe, trying to understand. He returned at 8:10 p.m. "Is he okay?" I asked. "He'll be fine. They'll do a procedure tonight." I nodded slowly. Then I asked the question I couldn't hold anymore. "Why were they calling you doctor?"
He looked at me.
Long pause. "I am a doctor." The words didn't fit. "You said you were security." "I am. I handle operations and safety systems." "That's not what I mean." He exhaled. "I'm also a trauma surgeon." My heart dropped. Chief of trauma. Everything went quiet. "How long?" 6 years as chief. 12 years total. I stared at him. "You what?" The room felt unreal, like I had stepped into someone else's life. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked. He didn't look away. "Because you didn't need me to be more than I was." "That's not fair." "I know." There was no anger in his voice, just truth. "I've spent my whole life being Dr. Reed," he continued. "The one people expect things from. The one who fixes everything." He looked at me softly. "With you, I was just Caleb." I didn't speak. Part of me was hurt. Another part understood. "We'll talk later," he said gently. "Right now, we finish this." He took my hand, and we walked back into the reception. But nothing felt the same. Not anymore. We left the venue around 11 p.m. Exhausted. Quiet. We didn't check our phones. We didn't talk much. We just slept. The next morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Calls. Messages. Notifications. I opened one app, then another, and my heart started racing. There it was. The video. 10 seconds. Caleb kneeling, giving orders, saving a life. The caption. "The groom at this wedding just saved my dad's life." Everyone calling him Dr. Reed. Views were climbing fast. Thousands. Then tens of thousands. Then more. Comments flooded in. "That's Dr. Caleb Reed. He saved my sister. Best trauma surgeon in the city." I scrolled in shock. The world knew him better than I did. By midday, it had exploded. Millions of views. News pages picked it up. Medical professionals shared it. Stories poured in. "He saved my life. He trained me. He's the best." I couldn't stop reading. My hands shook. Then my phone rang.
"Mom."
I didn't answer. Dad sent an email. Urgent. My brother messaged. I didn't know. "I'm sorry." I stared at the screen. Now they knew. Now everyone knew. But where were they when it mattered? If you've ever seen someone get judged too quickly, drop a comment below. Because this was bigger than just my story. The internet did what it always does. It found everything, including my mother's email, the one she sent telling everyone not to come. Someone leaked it. It spread fast. People were angry. How do you reject a man like this? They chose status over character. The backlash was brutal. My parents' world started falling apart. Friends questioned them. Colleagues whispered. Their perfect image cracked. And I didn't have to say a word. The truth spoke for itself. Caleb stayed quiet through it all. He went back to work, like nothing had changed. But everything had. A week later, we left the city. Just the two of us. No phones. No noise. We needed space.
Time.
Why didn't you tell me? I asked again one evening. He looked out at the trees.
Because you saw me, he said.
Not what I do. Not what I've achieved. Just me. I swallowed. I would have still loved you. I know. But I didn't want to risk it. I nodded slowly. I'm still upset. You should be. But I understand.
He reached for my hand.
We sat in silence. And for the first time since the wedding, I felt calm again. When we returned, things had changed. My family kept reaching out.
Calls.
Messages. Letters. I ignored them. Not out of anger, but because I wasn't ready. Life moved forward. Caleb worked long hours again, saving lives, being who he always was. And me? I started seeing things differently.
Not just about him.
But about everything. Some truths hurt, but they also reveal. And what my family revealed, I couldn't forget. In November, my phone rang. It was my mother. I almost ignored it, but something felt different.
It's your father, she said, crying.
He collapsed. My chest tightened. They're taking him to the hospital. I looked at Caleb. He was already grabbing his keys. We drove in silence. When we arrived, my mother looked broken. A nurse approached. Your husband is in surgery.
Pause.
Dr. Reed is operating. My mother's face went pale. The man we rejected. She couldn't finish. We sat there, waiting for the man they called nobody to save everything. Hours later, Caleb walked out.
He's stable, he said.
Relief filled the room. My mother broke down. You saved him after everything. Caleb's voice was calm. I'm a doctor. I do my job. Later, my father apologized.
Weak. Honest.
I was wrong. Caleb nodded. That's between you and her. Months passed. My family tried to rebuild. I didn't forgive them. Not fully. But I set boundaries. And that gave me peace. Because forgiveness isn't always required. But self-respect is. I chose love. I chose truth. I chose the man who saw me before the world did. If this story touched you, drop a comment and subscribe. Would you have forgiven them?